G'day you all, welcome back to another Ash Applications video. In this video I'm going back to doing a couple of shoe refurbishments, and this one in particular, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change the appearance of this shoe and see how I can rejuvenate it. So in the past I've done a few videos on just using the standard stuff. So we use our leather conditioner followed by our cream, and then with a wax polish on top of that. This one here I'm going to go into a little bit more detail and do a refurb with some different dyes and that sort of thing. So hopefully it turns out okay. We'll see how it goes. I've already cleaned this one up, and I'll use this as my first one and then show this as the contrast in the background with the second one there. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Alrighty, so the concept for this one, I'm going to use a navy dye, and I'm going to place that onto the darker brown area of the shoe. So it goes all the way around onto the sides, and I'm going to leave the tongue and a small heel protection there, that darker brown. So I'm going to have potentially have, if it works out okay, a contrast with a brown and a lighter brown against the navy. So on this one here I did try to put a navy polish onto the light brown when I decided I'm going to skip that and just use the dye on here. So I'm going to have to come up with something funky to disguise or abridge that part there. Anyway, let's see how the navy dye goes. I'm just going to apply it using a brush, starting from the center and then working towards the outside. Just using a bit of care there not to try and keep it in the line, so to speak. So I am using quite a narrow brush there so I can maintain control. So I always start, it's the same with painting I suppose, is starting on the inside and then working your way towards the outside. Alright, so that's pretty much the first coat done. So what I'll do is I'll let that soak in and dry, and then I'll go back over it and fix up any of the areas where it needs just a touch up on it. Alrighty, so let's have a look. Turned out really good. So I just went over and touched up some of the areas that needed a bit more attention on it. But compared to what it was as to what it is, it's going great. So we'll go on to the next step now. Next step is applying some nice light brown polish to the other areas of the shoe. Alrighty, next step is going to use some brown polish here, light brown, just to give some depth and some colour back into the brown parts of the light brown parts of this shoe, and just work it in. Because this shoe's been sitting for a long time, what I might do is I might give it a couple of coats of this. I'll work this in and then buff it off and apply another coat. Might even use 3 coats just to work it into the leather. Come back to that bit. I've got a plan for that one, so I won't do anything on that at the moment, but I'll come back to it. Okay, so let's give it a first buff off, horsehair brush. Straight away you can see a big difference from what it was to what it is now, and that's only just the first coat. Alright, okay, so first coat. There's a comparison. Yep, there's a marked difference. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a second coat on that. Alrighty, so moving on to the next step now is I want to apply leather conditioner. In this case we're going to use the Angelus leather balm, and this is the best thing you can ever do for your shoes in my opinion, is put leather balm on it. So I was going to do that before I put the dye on, but I wanted to see if the dye would take before I put the leather balm on. So what I have noticed as I've been applying the leather balm on, so it's as I was placing on this, I'll always try it on inconspicuous places of the shoe first. That's why I applied it there, and it started to come off. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and keep applying the leather balm, because it is something you need to do onto your shoes, and then I'll just have to go through and touch it up again. So what I will do is I'll just change the cloth out when I do the other parts of the shoe, so I'm not obviously not transferring the coloured dye onto the areas of the shoe that I don't want it on. It's time consuming enough just to put the dye on. Alrighty, so we've let the leather balm soak in, so let's just get that a buff off before we go on to the next step. And do the remaining parts of the shoe. And these haven't been done for a while, this has been sitting in the cupboard there. I've got these second hand anyway. With the view to do them up eventually, which is what I've finally got around to be doing now. And so all of the brown parts of the shoe I will go over with polish. As you will see, I'll put a polish on, and then we'll finish it off with a wax polish over the top of it. Righto, so third coat of the brown polish applied. Comes up really nice, adds that depth, puts all the colour back into the leather, as opposed to, you know, what the old part of it looks like. Righto, so let's have a look at what we're going to do over here onto this side. So I'm going to use some navy polish. And I'm just going to apply a little bit to both sides. Just to give that a bit of a patina at the back there. Goes some ways to making amends for that first bit there. So there we go. That's looking good. Just might go over that. Just might go over that bit again. So you can see here, it's just sort of, that's where I initially applied the leather balm, so I'll just go over that again. Alrighty, so while that's drying, what I'll do now is just carefully place on a coat of the navy polish onto the bits of the navy dye areas, just to give it a bit more depth. Has to be careful with this because you don't want it to overrun too much onto the areas of the brown. And that's the same when we buff it off. So you really got to, I'll really work it in there so there's not too much polish left when we buff it off. Alrighty, so I've applied all of the navy polish. What I'll do now is just go over it with a clean bit of the rag there. Just what I'm going to do now is just give it a light buffing with that cloth, before I do the brush, what I want to do is just prevent any of the polish from transferring onto the brown. Alright, alrighty, so even that, just that small little buff, it's done wonders. Right, let's get the big brush, horsehair brush onto it. Alright, lovely. Let's add some dimension to it. Brought it up nice. Alrighty, we're up to the point where I put the wax polish over it. This is on the second shoe, of course. Alright, so I just finished the buffing off of the wax polish, and it's amazing. Really, really good. So just the difference between the two, just amazing. I'll go ahead and put another coat of wax polish on, because that really does define it. Like the second and third coats really does add that extra dimension and gloss on the polish leather. It's great. Alrighty, so let's give it a buff off for the final coat of wax polish. That comes up really good. Alright, we'll just put in the laces now, and that should just be about it. G'day y'all, so we're back. I just placed the new laces in, so I got some navy laces to match the navy polish on the side of the shoes. Okay, so they come up brilliantly, better than I thought they would. So there you go, that's another idea for a project for you. If you want to give that a try, it's not really that hard to do. Just some leather dye, and then the application of polishes, and more importantly is the conditioner. So I give that a thumbs up. These I'll place these actually on my eBay store for sale. They're a size 42. So yeah, they're a nice shoe. They come up really nice. Thanks for your time.